Hello, fifth graders. I hope you guys are having a great Friday and that you have enjoyed your day, and hopefully you've gotten a good start on your virtual work. Remember, if you need any help or you have any questions, you can always have your parents email me and I can assist you in any way that you need assistance. So today for our English video, we are dealing with possessive pronouns. So we're going to kind of look at this yellow box. I know it's super close. I was trying to get it to all fit in, but it didn't quite all fit in. So at the top, it says that a possessive pronoun shows ownership. Possessive pronouns replace possessive nouns. So if you think back to when we had our English chapter on possessive nouns, when somebody or something owned something, okay? So if you look, we have some nouns here that are showing possession. So the first sentence says, Sarah's dog was barking. Well, the apostrophe S tells us that Sarah owns the dog. It belongs to her. We would replace Sarah's, instead of saying her name, if we wanted to say a pronoun, we would use her dog was barking, because her shows that she still owns the dog. She possesses the dog. If we used she instead of Sarah, which is what we have been using in our pronouns, it would say she dog was barking, and it would not show possession, nor would it make sense. The other sentence over here says, that dog is Mike and Tim's. Again, the apostrophe S shows that the dog belongs to Mike and Tim. We would use a pronoun. We could replace Mike and Tim's with that dog is theirs. Theirs tells us that the dog belongs to them. The next section says, some possessive pronouns are used before the noun. So sometimes we'll use it before the noun, and then in a moment we'll talk about how they can also stand alone. They can stand by themselves. So this one says, this is his dog. So the pronoun comes before dog, but it still shows that the dog belongs to him because it says it's his dog. Then over here it says the dog chased its tail. So it's showing that the tail belongs to the dog because it says its tail. The dog chased the dog's tail. We wouldn't put our sentence like that because it would be redundant and it wouldn't necessarily be very clear. So instead of saying the dog chased the dog's tail, we would say the dog chased its tail, the tail that belonged to the dog. Then we have ones that can stand alone. So it says some possessive nouns can stand alone. So this one says that bike is his. So we know that the bike belongs to him. 3 of the cats are ours. So the cats, 3 of the cats belong to us. So they come at the end of the sentence. They stand alone by themselves. Then the last section in your yellow box says, a possessive pronoun must be singular if its antecedent is singular, and plural if its antecedent is plural. So if you remember yesterday in class, we talked about what an antecedent was. The antecedent is the noun that the pronoun is replacing. And yesterday we talked about how if it's plural, the antecedent is plural, then the pronoun must be plural. And if the antecedent is singular, the pronoun must be singular. We also talked about if the noun, the antecedent, is masculine, then the pronoun must be masculine. If it's feminine, the pronoun must be feminine. So here we have a sentence that says, Tim is cutting his lawn. And there is only one person that it's talking about. The antecedent is singular. The antecedent or the noun is Tim. And his is renaming Tim. So Tim is cutting Tim's lawn. So instead of saying Tim is cutting Tim's lawn, we would say Tim is cutting his lawn. We renamed Tim. His is singular and Tim is singular. On the second sentence over here, it says the neighbors are cutting their lawns. So notice a lot of things happen in this sentence from that original sentence. First of all, our antecedent or our noun is now plural. There's more than one. So we have neighbors. We don't know how many, but there could be 2, 3, 4, 20. We don't know. But neighbors are cutting their plural pronoun for neighbors would be their. It shows possession. They own the lawns, and so the neighbors are cutting their lawns. The last thing I want to talk about in your, we'll see if I can get it up there, on your paper is your blue box. Your blue box is a huge help. Usually the pronouns and the things and the words that we pick are going to come from the blue boxes on our English pages. So here we have possessive pronouns. So these are going to be different than all the pronouns we've been using so far, because none of the ones we've used so far have shown possession. They've just been either subject pronouns or object pronouns. So over here on the singular side, we have my, your, its. Remember, this is an its without an apostrophe because it is not it is, his, her. And then these ones down here, these are singular ones that can stand alone. So they can be at the end of the sentence. Mine, his, yours, and hers. They are still singular. That's why they're on this side. And then on this side, we have the plural pronouns. Our, your, their. And then we have these ones that can also stand alone, but they're still plural. Ours, yours, theirs. For these three, we simply take the plural ones and we add an S to them to show that they can stand alone. All right, let's look down here at our guided practice and work some of these together. So in the guided practice, the directions say underline the possessive pronoun in each sentence. Then we're going to write S if the pronoun is singular and P if it's plural. So two-part directions. This is your first step. This is your second step. So the first sentence says, my mom told us a missionary story about Samuel Marsden. So we're going to look up here and see, look at our blue box. I know it's kind of off the screen, but I'm looking at my blue box to see which one of these words would be considered a possessive pronoun. The first one I'm going to underline is the word my, because my is on the singular side of my possessive pronouns. And so there are no other ones. Us is a pronoun, but it's not possessive. So there's just one, and it's on the singular side in my blue box. Okay, if you look up there, there's my. So I'm going to write S on the line because my is singular. It's talking about just my mom. Number 2 says his first job was as chaplain to convicts in Australia. So we're going to look at that and we're going to see if any of those words are in our blue box up here, our possessive pronoun box. And the first word, which is his, is in the possessive pronoun box. And not only is it in there, it's also on the singular side. It's just one person. It's talking about Samuel Marsden. Then number 3, let me make sure you guys can see it. Number 3 says, however, his greatest desire was to convert the Maoris in New Zealand. I probably did not say that right, but I tried. Let's look at these words and see if any of them are in our possessive pronoun box. And as we look through, we notice that again, the word his is a possessive pronoun, and it's a singular possessive pronoun, just like it was in number 2. It's still talking about Samuel Marsden. Number 4 said he treated their chiefs with respect. Now, when you look at that, immediately you're probably thinking, oh, he, because we've been stuck on pronouns for a while. but he is not possessive. There falls in our blue box and is a possessive pronoun. There is on our plural side, so we're going to write P for plural. Number 5 said the Moreas honored him for his courage and strength. So again, we go through here and immediately we probably all have our radar up for him because him is a pronoun. But him does not show that he owns or possesses anything. His, again, shows that he possesses courage and he possesses strength. He owns those, courage and strength. And his, again, is a singular pronoun. Now we're going to come down here to numbers 6 through 9. And the directions say replace the words with a possessive pronoun. So you, again, are going to want to use that blue box to put in a word that is not only possessive, but it also needs to make sense with the words that are underneath of the box. So the first one says, the Maoris customs included worshiping many gods. So I'm going to look up here, and I know that this is a plural possession because the apostrophe is after the S, so I'm going to need a plural pronoun. Well, our, it's not talking about me, so our wouldn't work. Your, we're not speaking to somebody specific, but their would work. Their customs included worshiping many gods. So we are going to want to write there and make sure that we capitalize the T because it is the beginning of the sentence. Number 7 says their customs, there's a possessive one, they own customs or they have customs. Their customs were different from yours and mine. Now we're at the end of the sentence and it's talking about you and me. So it's going to be on the plural side over here. And we want one that's going to make sense. Their customs were different from ours, yours, or theirs. So the only one that really doesn't make sense is theirs. Yours, we might think makes sense, but it's talking about yours and mine. So the correct one here would be ours. O-U-R-S. Their customs were different from ours. Number 8 says, Marsden taught them about God and God's love for them. So what would we put in place of God's? I want you to go ahead and pause the video and put your guess of what you think goes there from the blue box. All right, hopefully you've got an answer in there. And God's is a singular noun, so we're going to come to our singular side. Marsden taught them about God and his love for them. Now this H is capitalized because it is talking about God, even though it's not the beginning of a sentence. If you put his in there, go ahead and put a star next to number 8. If you did not put his, go ahead and circle number 8, just the number 8, and then make sure you correct it and write his in the blank. Number 9, we told Mom that we enjoyed Mom's story. Okay, there's only one mom that we're talking about here. So we want to look at our singular side because Mom is singular. Our possessive pronoun needs to be singular. So we told Mom that we enjoyed her story. Because remember, if the antecedent is plural or if the antecedent is feminine, our pronoun has to also be feminine. All right, let's go ahead and flip over your page. We're going to do some of the independent practice together, just because sometimes this can be a little trickier. Just remember, you are always welcome to look back at your blue box for your singular possessive pronouns and your plural possessive pronouns. So let's look at numbers 1 through 7. It says to underline the possessive pronoun in each sentence and write S if the pronoun is singular and P if it's plural. So this is just what we did in that first section on the front. We have two-step direction here. So let's look at number 1. Some New Zealanders influence their country's future. So hopefully as you read that, the word their stood out to you. And if it's their country, that means it belongs to more than one person, so it would be plural. Number 2 says, much like ours, New Zealand was a young country in the early 1800s. So again, ours hopefully stuck out to you. And ours shows that it belongs to more than one person, so that it would be plural. Number 3 says the missionary Samuel Marsden helped start its wool trade. So its is going to be our possessive pronoun, and its is talking about the country of New Zealand, but it's just talking about one country, so it's going to be singular. Plus, it's on our singular side on the front. Number 4, the King of England gave Marsden 5 sheep from his own flock. So hopefully you underlined the word his, or you're going his. His is the possessive pronoun, okay, and his is singular. All right, I want you to try 5, 6, and 7. So go ahead and pause the video. You can push play once you've underlined and you've also put whether it's singular or plural. But go ahead and pause it and do those 3 on your own. All right, now that you have 5, 6, and 7 finished, let's go ahead and do them together, see how you did. Marsden worked hard to make his sheep farms successful. So you should have underlined his. His is the possessive pronoun, and his is a singular possessive pronoun. It only belongs to him. Number 6 says he helped the Morais and the colonists settle their disagreements. So hopefully you skipped over he, because he is just a pronoun. It doesn't show possession. And you went down here to their, and you underlined there. Their disagreements means that it's talking about the Morais and the colonists. Those are your antecedents. There's 2 of them, so it is a plural possessive. Then it says he was glad that his work brought improvements to the country. Again, hopefully you skipped over he, because that's just a pronoun, and you went over here to his and you underlined his, and it's just talking about one person's work, so it is singular. And hopefully you've gotten all 3 of those correct. If you got each one correct, I want you to put either a star or a smiley face, whichever you choose, next to the 3 of those. If you missed one, make sure you fix it, and then just circle the number that you missed. So if you missed 5, just circle the number 5, and then that way I know how you did on those 3. All right, at the bottom, we're going to replace the words with a possessive pronoun. So this is, again, kind of like what we did on the front. You can use your blue box on the front to help you, but be thinking, is my antecedent, my noun, is it plural or is it singular? If it's plural, my possessive pronoun needs to be plural. If it's singular, my possessive pronoun needs to be singular, and it also has to match if it's masculine or feminine. So number 8 says the red sweater is my sweater. Okay, this is probably the toddler's most favorite possessive pronoun. The red sweater is mine. If you ever go into a class with a bunch of toddlers, you're going to hear that word a whole bunch. It's their favorite possessive pronoun. Number 9, the striped sweaters are Julie's and Kim's. So we have 2 here. belongs to two people, so it's going to be theirs. And we'll reread it to make sure it makes sense. Let's put an S there. The striped sweaters are theirs. Sweaters is plural, theirs is plural. Mark, are the brown suspenders Mark's? Okay, so we're asking Mark if the brown suspenders are his. So what would make sense? Mark, are the brown suspenders yours? See, you've been using possessive pronouns all your life and you didn't even know that's what you were doing. Damon's and my sisters are the same age. So what could we use in place of Damon's and my sisters? Sisters are the same age. Well, hopefully you said our sister are the same age. It would not be their sisters are the same age because it's talking about my sisters. So it belongs to Damon, but it also belongs to me. Their shows that it belongs to other people. If you're involved, you need to pick a pronoun or a possessive pronoun that shows that it belongs to you too. All right, I want you to, again, try 12, 13, and 14 on your own, just like we did at the top. And go ahead and pause your video and hit play once you think you've got the correct answers written in there. All right, hopefully you've got 12, 13, and 14 done. Let's see how you did. I handed Steve Steve's coat. So you handed him the coat that belonged to him. I handed Steve his coat. Number 13. I wonder whether that book is Julie's. This one might be a little tricky, but hopefully you notice Julie is a feminine noun. I wonder if that book is hers. And then 14. Mom's cooking is better than my cooking. So we would say Mom's cooking is better than mine. Remember, if it's at the end of the sentence, it's going to stand alone because it's going to be one of those last ones down here with those asterisks by them when it can stand alone at the end of a sentence. All right, if you got 12, 13, and 14, again, either put a smiley face or a star to show me that you got it correct. If you didn't, make sure you fix it and then just circle the number of the one that you got incorrect. Well, hopefully this was helpful and hopefully this made sense. We will continue to go over this more as we continue in our English chapter. We have a fun lesson on Monday on reflexive pronouns. So we're learning all about these different pronouns and how they can be used differently and increasing our knowledge about them. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and I cannot wait to see you on Monday.